watched this channel a little bit, you know that I'm a huge fan of the OTS Guardian Full Face mask. I really like diving on it. I think it's great when used for the right purpose. And OTS just came out with a new mask, the Spectrum, which is a much more simpler, more affordable version of a full face mask. Just to be clear, this is not a paid endorsement of any kind. They don't pay me. I paid for this mask. We picked up 6 of them last week at DEMA dive show for College of Diving, and I've been dying to dive on it, but I kind of wanted to first do an unboxing video. I'll probably do a review video soon when the weather is a little bit better. The first thing that you notice is actually the box itself. It kind of gives away immediately where this product is placed in the lineup. This is not necessarily a lower end product, but it is definitely a more affordable product and comes in a much simpler packaging. Still really nice though. I really like the graphics on the box, and I think this is really this is quite cool as far as boxes go. But let's open it up. So we got some bubble wrap going on here. That's the mask, and then we got the sort of instructions for use manual, and that's it. So the first thing we notice is that it doesn't come with a regulator. I knew that when I bought it. That's also, I think, where the biggest price difference comes from, where the Guardian is around $700-800 retail, and this one is half of that. There's basically 4 versions. There's the black skirt and the blue skirt, and then each one you can choose for regular or tinted glass. I chose for the tinted one. I'll be very honest, this is purely chosen on aesthetics. I think this is the most badass rendition of the mask, and that's why I went for it. But for teaching purposes, I generally try not to use tinted glass, just because I want people to be able to see my eyes, but I don't foresee myself teaching on this a whole lot. Right here, this is where the regulator goes. So supposedly any regulator can be installed, and then the first thing I notice is that there's 2 ports right here. There's no surface air valve, but supposedly beginning of 2018 there will be an SAV, a surface valve, coming that can be purchased separately and plugged into the side. The other port here can be used for comms, very much the way that we use them on the Guardian. They're supposed to be interchangeable. And as far as features go, that is kind of it. You know, what you see right here is what you get. I do notice there's these screws right here. In February, March, we're likely to see add-ons such as light attachments, camera attachments. There's another screw actually up here on the top of the mask. That's probably for a GoPro attachment. And then we have the same spider strap the way we see it on the other masks, which is actually very, very comfortable, as well as the sort of double folded skirt on the inside. I don't know if you guys can see it, which makes for a really comfortable fit. The other really big difference is how you equalize. With the Guardian and the Stealth, you're supposed to push up against the bottom of the mask, blocking your nose. In the Spectrum, they basically just made it so that the lens is actually a bit smaller, but you can just equalize the way you conventionally would by pinching your nose. Definitely, as far as the aesthetics go, this looks really, really good. If you're into just cool looking gadgets, this is already definitely your thing. Once again, we obviously have to dive it to really know what it's worth. There's also a lens protector, like a little screen that's on the inside, which is definitely a lot harder to peel off. I almost didn't see it, but there we go. So keep that in mind before you dive it. And then maybe talking about the lens itself also, because you use your own regulator and it's not a positive pressure mask, I foresee some fogging. What the Guardian has that is an amazing feature is this slight positive pressure that really keeps the lens also spotless. I foresee probably having to apply some kind of product here to keep the mask from fogging. In the Ziploc bag, there's also 2 zip ties. So the second stage does need to be zip tied on the inside, from what I understand. That does mean that it is probably not the type of mask that you will switch your second stage to a whole lot. You'll probably have to designate one. I just bought the Taiwanese WMD second stage off the shelf. It actually looks pretty nice on the inside, to be honest. And we're just gonna see how the mask performs with a very random second stage. Also in the bag is a little wrench, same as with the Guardian, and the wrench is obviously for these ports, and then the actual instructions for use. And there seems to be also a word here on how to install the second stage regulator. Around where the second stage regulator goes, there is a plastic frame that needs to be removed before installation. So let's give that a go. So in order to get the frame out, this port needs to be removed. So once the inner frame is out, the mask is substantially less rigid, which I think is obviously the point, but now we should be good to insert the second stage. And then once the second stage is installed, we have to zip tie the inside. Not gonna lie, zip tying this thing is surprisingly hard to do because it is somewhat hard to reach the inside where the second stage connect. I thought this would be a lot easier, to be honest. And then I have to somehow get the zip tie around it. This is definitely not something that I'm going to be doing before or after every dive if I want to keep diving with my main second stage regulator. So I think the idea to buy a designated one is definitely a good idea. So now the inner frame has to go back inside over the mouthpiece. So I got it firmly secured now, and it looks really, really crazy. And there you go, that's our setup. It's all right. I mean, it's definitely a bit more wobbly than let's say, how the regulator is attached to the Guardian or the Stealth, but that's also kind of what you pay for. Huh? But it's solid. I mean, the inner frame, and that's the purpose of the inner frame, is to kind of keep this whole thing steady, and it definitely does do that. So obviously I can't really give a verdict before we take it on a dive, but for a $399 retail price, it looks like we got a nice product here. It's definitely high quality. The finish feels really good, feels really sturdy. I'm definitely stoked about the add-ons that are about to appear early 2018. But as far as sort of out of the box first impressions go, this looks like a really solid piece of equipment, with the added benefit of kind of looking really cool if you're into that.